Hi, everybody. This is Miss T's Book Room, and today I am talking to author Terri Johnson.
Miss T's Book Room. I love reading. Miss T's Book Room.
Johnson, also known as Miss T Johnson. That's what the kids call you, right?
Yes.
And so today she's going to give us some great tips about Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which is in April. And at first I was gonna talk to Miss Johnson because I knew it was Child Abuse Prevention Month, but
Right.
you told me about the Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which I didn't really know that's what that this month was also that.
Right.
So give us some 10 tips about sexual assault awareness.
Okay, so one of the things that I wanted to share is that actually sexual assault awareness has been around for a very long time, but it didn't become a part of the awareness month as a something that we kind of recognize nationally until 1983, which
Right.
I find astounding that late. And sexual assault is something that I think people kind of think, okay, it's rape and it's
Yeah.
someone jumping from behind a bush and it's someone that the person may not know. It's kind of like the boogie monster.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's just not true. And assault is harassment, sexual
Yes.
harassment. I think that we have gone in some ways really far out with some of the things, and so it's becoming blurred. And so that makes me a little nervous for people that are what I call not just survivors but thrivers.
Exactly.
So but sexual assault is of course the actual physical assault of someone in a sexual way. But sexual assault can be to threaten to threaten to do something to someone.
Yes.
It can be to intimidate someone in a sexual way. You might, do some things that are, lewd and like exposing yourself and things like that. That is also considered assault.
Exactly.
Each state has, and I understand we're in a different state. I'm in Maryland, you're in Alabama. So those rules, of course, they are very different.
Exactly.
But one of the things that we need to understand is that it is more than just the actual physical violence. It is intimidation. It is the threat of It's the threat of physical harm or intimidation. So people need to be, very clear with that. And for child abuse awareness, which is really prevention, which is my big thing. My motto is prevention over intervention. And so one of the reasons why, and I know, we'll get into it, but one of the reasons why I'm so steadfast about prevention is because I don't believe that our children have to experience the atrocities and the horrors of abuse.
Exactly. Yes.
And so it's great that we have intervention. It's great that more attention and money is going towards that. But what about prevention?
Prevention.
What about us preventing it from happening? I would love for people to no longer know about ACEs, which is adverse childhood experiences, because children are not experiencing abuse.
Right.
And of course it's more than just that, it can be that you witness car accidents, things like that. So I'm not saying that is it when it comes to ACEs, but one of the things that I hope before the good Lord closes my eyes is that, and I leave this earth, is that I really get the word out about how we can prevent. So that's why I was so excited when you contacted me, and I was so impressed that you knew that it was already Child Abuse Prevention month, because it's really important, and it's something that, you know, believe me, I don't have a problem with there being awareness months. It just happens to be, to me, that our children are our most valuable and vulnerable and precious world citizens. So for me, it's something that, you know, needs to be, that we really focus on every single day. But until then, I love the fact that we have a month that can have everyday people realize that, listen, if you see something, just like they say about the terrorism, if you see something, and I'm gonna add, they say something, right? I add, if you see something and it don't look right and it don't feel right, say something. Do something about it. Right. You know, we have stories coming out now where you have flight attendants, like a flight attendant, she just knew something wasn't right with this guy and this young lady.
Yeah, I heard about
Remember that? And she did something about it. And there have been other cases where people have, you know, it just wasn't right. You know, a child in a car and things like that. And it's not always small children, you know, sometimes it's our, you know, older children that are in very compromised situations. They may be in foster care, they may be in a really impoverished situation. So they believe that they have to go out and use their body as commodity to help take care of the family. Children that are homeless in foster care and domestic violence shelters, things like that, they are at higher risk. Right. So, you know, we have to think about that. And I had an experience today that really blessed me, but it also left me in tears. I waited till I got my car, but I just broke down because a young person shared with me how when they were supposed to be in a system to protect them, they were taken advantage of, you know. And that's why with Body Safety Zones BSZ, I really am, you know, set on having my books go towards children that are in foster care, homeless shelters, domestic violence shelters, because I know that they are at even higher risk of being exploited and being abused.
And so, see, as a teacher, you know, people, they think, oh, you hear about this and that, but we hear some stories. People, they don't believe you, but like, no, And I like how you said it's not just the little ones, it's not just the teenagers, but it's not just the little ones, you know. I like how you said that. Also about how prevention, you know, we want to prevent everything else, but when it comes to you know, like you said, we have the awareness, but we need prevention, you know. And I love that you do that. Like that's, you know, that's really why I wanted, you know, to talk to you and talk about your books and your doll. I keep calling it a doll, but does the doll have a name?
Yes, the doll's name. Would you like me to share? Yes. So her name is Miss B Persistent.
Oh, okay, B Persistent. Okay.
And so she has on her little t-shirt there, Body Safety Zones BSZ, but on the back, I couldn't get everything on it. So on the back it says love and protect children.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So she is not anatomically correct. Right, but she got the different parts. So you know, so children, but she's, you know, she's a jazzy little lady, and she is jazzy. And she's the main character in the book, and also in the coloring activity book. She's actually a school social worker in the story.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. I like how you did that. That's okay.
So she teaches awareness classes, health and awareness classes, and so she doesn't just teach about Body Safety Zones. She teaches about all types of stuff. But right now, that's the first book. She's teaching about Body Safety Zones.
Okay, I like that.
So to get into the top 10, so I called it, you told me to do top 10 tips. So I made them very common sense. I hope that's okay. Top 10 tips for talking to children about their body safety zones. Okay. The adult that cares enough about the child to explore that, you know, conversation, to start that conversation, has to examine their level of comfortability with the subject matter.
Right.
Okay. You know, you have to be, because children are very, very perceptive. They are they are, to me, the closest thing to God. So they can pick up if you are not comfortable. it's like they're little greyhounds or something. They can snip it off of you. So what is your comfortability with having this conversation? If you're not so sure about it, then you want to make sure that you talk to someone trusting first about it, kind of get your little butterflies out before you have a conversation with them.
Right.
The second thing, what's the trust between that adult and that child? Right? So as a teacher, for instance, if you know that you've had, I mean, I know sometimes you guys can have your kids for 2 and 3 years, you know, not sometimes like straight in a row, but if you get switched around to different grades, you could very well have your children for more than one grade. So that you are the perfect person. You are the perfect person. That makes you qualified.
Yes,
your relationships are everything. I mean, think about it. You know, if you don't have a relationship with someone, how likely are you to listen to or believe what they're saying?
Right.
So our little people are the same way, you know, the same way they want to know this is someone that I trust. This is someone that I know has my well-being, you know, at hand, and they care about me. So if they see something, I know that I should probably trust it and listen to it. So trust between the adult and the child. And I don't want to just say adult, because with my sisters, I wasn't an adult when I started having conversations with my sisters that are now, one is almost 40. So I wasn't an adult, but I started having the best way I could conversations to try to protect them. So, you know, it could be an older child, preteens, teens. You know, what's that relationship? That relationship is very important. Number 3, patience. Okay, so I thought about this, right? And I was going to say, at first I was going to say, you need to have like a lot of patience if they're younger. But then I said, you know what? That's not necessarily true, because I like to call teenagers the second toddlerhood. So, you know, it could be that, you know, a teenager could ask you a whole bunch of questions just to, you know, get up under your skin. But you need to have that patience. You need to, you know, even if they're kind of ribbing you a little bit, you need to have, you know, the patience to you know, just to give them time. If they might have nervous energy, so they acting a little silly, or they might giggle when you you know, are talking about certain things when it comes to the body. So have that patience. And then 4, right after the patience, have a sense of humor. Have a, you know,
you do have to have it.
Anytime you're dealing with children, you have to have a sense of humor. Some of the things that they say, first of all, they teach us a lot more than we could ever teach them, I believe. And you know, having a sense of humor actually kind of takes the heaviness out of it, because it is a very, very important conversation, right? But at the same time, it doesn't have to feel so heavy.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to feel so heavy.
I like how you said it doesn't have to feel so heavy, you know. Sometimes you have to,
like, you know, lighten it up, even though this subject matter, you know, and even put some qualifiers out there. I'll add like a I don't know, 4A, you know, put some qualifiers like, you know, this is something that, you know, was not an everyday conversation that we have, but it's going to be, it's going to start becoming a more frequent conversation that we have, because I want you to feel very comfortable talking about what we're ready to start talking about, you know. But having a sense of humor, if they say it's a what, or, you know, what is that? The vulva, the what is that? You know, whatever, you know, just, but we want to make sure that, you know, it's light, but that they know the seriousness of it all.
Right.
5 is 2 parts: have an open heart and have an open mind.
Yes.
You know, because, and the reason why I say that is because, you know, children can, you know, say things and ask things that can like throw you off. And even though that goes with patience, you know, you might be thinking that it's a silly question or a silly comment, but it might be something behind that, you know.
That's true.
So you want to have an open heart, you want to have an open mind, and they'll sense that, you know. The more open you are, the more open they'll be. And you want to have that, you want to lay that foundation in case they come back to you and have some questions, or God forbid, you know, someone has said or done something inappropriate. So you want to lay that as a foundation very early on. And I say, you know, the earlier, the better you have these conversations. It's not a specific age. I like to share with people. I have an almost 22-year-old and I have an almost 19-year-old. And I started sex ed with them in the hospital. So my daughter, my son was in NICU, but so I was able to, you know, hold my daughter a few hours after I had her. And so how I started sex ed was when I was naming her head and her eyes and her eyebrows and all that. The first day I had her, I named her chest, and I told her to return into breast, and I named her vagina, and I named her backside, and I told her that it's something between your little cute cheeks that's called an anus. I did that very early on, which was very interesting when she started, you know, going to school, because you know,
she knew the words, and that's another thing that's very important, to know the exact words of those body parts.
That's my number 8.
Oh, see?
Definitely. That's my number 8. You on it. Yeah. So the number 6 is be resourceful. You don't have to know everything.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we're in the time of Google, okay? So, okay, Google, blah, blah, blah. You can get that information. You know, you don't want to Wikipedia this stuff. I don't, oh, look, I said, okay, Google, and look, she came up. You know, but, you know, you don't have to, I wouldn't Wikipedia it, because you want to go to the, you know, the reputable places to get the information. But it's so much information. It's a plethora of information out there. So you don't have to have all the answers, and let your children know, whether it's your students or your mentees, or, you know, your Sunday school kids that you're teaching, your own children, whomever. All of them, when it boils down to them, they're our babies, you know? So
that's true.
If you don't know, let them know that you don't know. I'll find that out for you.
Yeah,
because they need to know. They don't need to know everything. So be resourceful, you know. And in the process, show them how to find out the information they want. Do I have enough time to give you a small little story?
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing about being resourceful. So my mother, she had my next to youngest sister when I was 11. And so as soon as she told me we were pregnant, first of all, she made the mistake of saying it was going to be our baby. She regretted that, because I took that serious. But as soon as she told me that she was going to, you know, have our baby, I went right to the library. I got this book about pregnancy, and I kept that book. Now, I didn't give the book back until she was like 1. Because I was very interested in, you know, everything. I would ask my mother, well, how many months are you? How many weeks are you? Because they had the pictures, and then they would say the different things that the babies were doing. And I was, you know, only 11 at the time, but I was very interested in, you know, the time, you know, what is it? Anatomy of it all.
Yeah, right.
You know, I wanted to know the anatomy. I wanted to know what the baby was doing. And then they had a little section like the first 6 months after the baby was born. So, you know, children can do it. We can do it. And we don't have to go necessarily to the library. Our phone is, you know, a lot of times all the library that we actually need.
Right, exactly.
7. Yeah. So 7 is talk with friends that have children, to make sure your circle, like, so in your circle, if it's your children's friends, your friends that have children, that your children are around, you know, make sure that your circle is willing to respect and reinforce your wishes.
Right.
You know, so in other words, I don't believe that when a child, I think that we have gone far away from being respectful. So I definitely think the children should be respectful of adults. However, I don't think that it's disrespectful for a child not to want an adult to have their hands all in their face, kissing them all in their face, hugging and grabbing all on them. Please do not make your children, and I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to your audience. Please don't make them go over and hug grandma or nana or auntie or TT or whoever. Please don't make them do that. If they don't want to hug, just explain to your family, this is a part of us. We're teaching him or her about body agency, that they have control and rights to their body, you know. And so if now they don't want to, you can blow a kiss or you can throw an air hug. A lot of times it's also, again, back to, like I was saying, having that reinforcement in your circle, making sure that the adults are going to respect the kids.
Exactly. Yes. That's good.
I don't know I don't know what year you were in, but I'm a 70s kid, and there was no such thing. Okay.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as you telling an adult, no.
Right.
I don't want no kiss. I don't want no hug. Get your hands out my face. I tried it a couple times and I paid for it, but because what it does is that it teaches them not to trust their gut and their intuition.
Right.
And they need to have that. Exactly. They need to have that for that unsafe adult or older child that may violate them. So it's all, again, we're talking about foundation. We're talking about these tips are the very, very beginning, very, very basic. Okay. And then, as you said earlier, 8 is use proper names of private parts. No pet names. It's not the goody box. It's not the good boy. It's none of those things.
Right.
It's the penis. It's the testes. It's the vagina. It's the vulva. Yes. It's the it's the anus. It's the mouth.
Yes.
Because that is something that provides sexual gratification as well. And so that's why I don't like the whole thing. Well, we're going to just, it's what your swimsuit covers up. Well, a boy's swimsuit doesn't cover his chest, but that is an erogenous zone for a lot of men.
Yep. Yes.
So I covered that in my book.
Look, I didn't even think of that. That's wow.
Yeah. Or, folks that I've worked with, I've I don't know, I didn't go over it, but I'm a clinical social worker by practice. And this year I'll be celebrating in September, God willing, 25 years of being a licensed social worker. And I'm also an addiction counselor. And, one of the things, and I've evolved as well, but one of the things that I just don't like, and I never liked, was that whole stranger danger thing. And I started growing not to like, and then I started growing not liking the whole bathing suit, because the boy's chest is not covered and no bathing suit covers your mouth. And now that I've come out with the 4 body safety zones, people are like, oh yeah, I knew that. And I'm like, please, a lot of people did not know, didn't think of it. Why? Because when I worked in prisons, when I was doing consultant work and worked in prisons, and when I also worked in the detention center, I had too many people that I had to process tell me how they didn't think that they had been abused because it was just oral.
Wow.
Okay. Because if I've been taught that it's what the swimsuit covers up, my mouth is not, how is that? You know what I mean? True. So it's it's all types of things. And unfortunately, predators are very, they're very, they find ways, you know what I mean? So we have to be smarter than them. And, I've even had some people share with me, like, well, I don't think that, it's so much about telling the kids, we need to get the predators. Absolutely. This does not, my book in no way lets the predators off the hook.
Right.
However,
exactly.
I want our babies to be well informed. I want them to feel empowered. I want them to know that they can advocate for themselves. And we're going to deal with the predators too. And we're going to deal with them, because we got to get with legislation and everything else to make sure that these laws are not a slap on the wrist, because it destroys lives. It destroys generations. But maybe that's another time, because I can get on a whole soapbox about that. So 8, so again, 8, please provide proper names of the private parts. Feel comfortable, because you're going to go down your list, so you're going to be feeling more comfortable about it. So you're going to share that, and it doesn't matter. Also, don't be, maybe 8A, don't be afraid to let your child touch themselves. Now, my mother had a total fit when my first child was born, because she was touching herself. And so I told her, I said, Mimi, and she'll want to kill me because she's almost 22. I said, Mimi, that's that's in private. You don't do that. And my mother went to, touch her hand, just tap her hand. And I said, don't do that. That's her body.
Yeah.
You know, that's her body. I'd rather she touch her body than and I mean, I was real young then, but I was like, I'd rather touch her body and know, you know, feel comfortable with that than someone else touching it. So I don't want any shame with that. And my mom was just like, you're a weirdo. You know what I mean? She just thought, okay, this education that made you lose your mind. But anyway, you know, I just think that that's, you know, they need to feel comfortable with their own bodies, and also they'll be able to tell you too. So it's you know, that was just my parenting. That's not so much the social worker. That's more so as a parent. That's the way I parent. Yeah. 9 is know the National Child Abuse Reporting Hotline number. Now again, technology. You can go to www.childhelp.org/hotline, and you can also chat. So if you don't want to talk to them, you can chat. But they still have the 24, and it's 24/7. Okay, it's 24/7, and the hotline number is 1-800-422-4453, and it stands for children. No, let me stop it. For Hope Children or something. It's like a little acronym that it stands for. And then that's really important. And also Child Help, they have on a website, they have a lot of information, a lot of resources that is for different, you know, educators, parents, so on. So again, that goes back to, you know, being resourceful. And then 10, buy body safety zones.
Yes, buy it.
It's a wonderful tool to start the conversation in a fun way, age appropriate way. This book is this is my first book, and it is for 8 and under.
Okay.
And just to share some with you, with your readers, your viewers.
Okay.
And I love this. This is the whole front. But let me share this quote. I'll share some other things. This is the body safety zones awareness ribbon that I had designed.
Oh, yeah.
So it's blue, which is the color for child abuse. It's for a couple of things, but blue is for child abuse prevention. And then the purple is like domestic violence. I wanted to have some teal in there, but I couldn't get it in. Teal is, and you'll see this page, the next page, you can't really tell, but the next page is teal, and that's for sexual assault.
Okay.
So it's the colors, but I wanted to just share this quote, which is the first official page. It's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men.
Yes.
And that's by Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
Frederick Douglass. So, you know, one of the things that, you know, I think again, it just ties into my ideology of prevention over intervention. You know, we want to get to our babies and put all into them, see them as our little bank accounts, you know, and invest as much our very best in them. So we don't have to pay for it later, because as a society, we can't afford to continue to allow our children to be exploited, abused, and trafficked. We really can't.
Yeah, we can't.
That is the silent pandemic, abuse. It is the silent pandemic. Corona, she ain't got nothing on child abuse. Nothing. It has destroyed zillions of families, you know, and we're talking about all of these statistics, but the statistics are only from the ones that they know. You know, that's the scare. That's the thing that really scares me half to death. But just to share some with you, it's diverse.
Oh, yes, it is.
Because no child, unfortunately, is exempt from abuse. And so why would we show just one type or two type of children when it can be anyone? Anyone. And you know, one of the things that we do, which I do with my students, is that before we actually read, we get our wiggles out. I call it getting our wiggles
Yes, we do. Yes, we do that. I teach pre-K, so yes, we get the wiggles out. Love it.
They are my favorite. They're my favorite. Pre-K to second is like, or third is like really my favorite.
Yeah.
So we get our wiggles out and we talk about, you know, what song, and then they put like their thinking helmets on. And so then we go. So just some of
Yes.
the
Buy the book. Yes. Buy
yeah,
Body Safety Zones.
yeah, body safety zones, and proceeds of the book goes to programming for to educate children about body safety zones. And also this doesn't look like my great grandmother, but this statue, this bust right here is actually of my great grandmother Rhoda Lee Jones, and this is her real year of birth
Oh wow.
and death. And she was someone that was a protector and a true advocate for children. She really was. And she had she had a hard life. She was a sharecropper. She taught herself how to read and write and play the piano. She had a hard life. She grew up just at the beginning of the 20th century. So but she was so sweet and so good to me. And so this came out. I'm almost at my 1 year.
Okay.
This was self-published
Oh.
the 25th of April. And then on my son's 18th birthday, October the 3rd of last year, I did the activity coloring book.
Okay.
And so I believe that, our children, as you're pre-K, so that they learn through doing. They learn through, having fun. It's no reason for it to be boring,
right.
And pre-K is they'll tell you something boring too. So
yes.
So it's not just an activity coloring book. It also has memory card games in it.
Oh, I love that.
So you just punch them out. You don't have to tear anything. It's perforated around here.
Okay.
And you just punch them out, and then you I'm still trying to learn how to do this the right way.
Oh, I love that.
This is the shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the shield, the body safety zone shield. And you just punch them out, and then they learn how to do it. I have some pre-writing stuff in here where they do the squiggly lines and the tracing.
Oh yeah.
So and then they have where they can design their own shield. They have some I Spy in there, coloring.
Oh yeah. Yes, y'all get the workbook. Yes.
Yeah. So it's and I'm working on a curriculum actually.
Okay.
So teachers will be able to do, mentors and everything else. You don't have to be a clinician to do it if you want, like, just the basics, because the whole point is to start the conversation.
Right.
They can always hire me if they want the more in-depth stuff. But the idea is to be able to replicate it.
Yes.
Because it's important for all of our babies to get it. So that's my top 10.
Thank you. You did awesome. You did wonderful. Look, I learned something, and I hope that parents, teachers will learn something.
Religious leaders. I'm trying to get
religious
the
leaders,
synagogues, the mosques, everywhere.
Yes, I love that you put that in there. Religious leaders learn this. Like, listen, I'm gonna be posting this. Look, I'm really gonna post it and get it out there, because this is something that is just, like you said, prevention. We talk about awareness, but we need prevention. Miss Terri, thank you. Thank you so much. And we love the books. Of course, books are my favorite thing. So that's, it's always going to be my favorite part. And I am so going to be getting those books, because especially that workbook, I love that. So thank you again. And, oh, you forgot something?
Yes, I did. I didn't do 10.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't do 10.
You didn't do it?
No, I started talking about the books. I totally forgot. Oops. Oh, so number 10. All right. So 10 is I said, but I didn't give you the information. I did say buy it, but I didn't say where. So it's www.etsy.com/shop/persistence is the way.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so that's where you can order it, and then come on and get some information on my IG page. All this month I'm going to be leaving information, and I just hope that people share it. of course I would love my books to sell out and sell out and sell out and sell out. But what's more important to me really is that people share this information.
Right.
That's really important. And I have like a certificate that I made up. And so I'm doing a limited edition of them, but they're not anything to buy. Children can earn them if they share information about body safety zones. If they educate other people about it, they are an advocate, and what an ambassador. They're an ambassador. And then if they, speak up, they're an advocate. So I did a little body safety zones ambassador and advocate certificate. So a few kids, if you go on my page, you'll see matter of fact, one of the babies, she's only 4. Well, she just turned 5, and she knows she knows it. Her mother read the book to her one time, and she had it down. And so I sent her a certificate. She's in Michigan. I sent her a certificate, and I sent a few of them out. So yeah, it's important. But thank you. I really appreciate your work. I know your work is very hard. I think that other than being a parent, a teacher is the hardest job. And I've never been a teacher. So I'm not saying it because I've been a teacher, but I really do believe that. And I think that you all have done a phenomenal job during this pandemic.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you. And thank you again. Thank you again.
Miss T's Book Room. I love reading. Miss T's Book Room.